Hello and welcome to another Player 2 review discussion. My name is Paul James and today I'm joined by the legendary pop culturist himself, Ryan Betson. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, my friend. How are you?
Excited because you and I get to talk farming sims. It's what we do best.
Yeah.
Among a whole bunch of other things that I'm cutting out of this recording before it goes live that no one else needs to know about. We're talking farming sims. We've spoken about this game before. 2 years ago when I joined you to talk about the game on the PopCulturists platform.
That's correct.
We're going full circle. We're talking about Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town for Player 2 this time. Another thing that's kind of gone full circle is the fact that 2 years ago when we had this chat, you were attacked by a plover.
I was.
You were injured.
I was assaulted in my street.
You were winged. Your wings were clipped.
I was, yes.
And today, just as we got to the call, we started discussing, not plovers this time, but the fact that you're currently enduring a similar-ish injury. Nothing broken, no significant
Different
injuries.
sides. So, like, this time 2 years ago, I was attacked by a bird. And I tripped, and I completely.
It just doesn't get old.
It's still funny. Like I hip and shouldered the ground. Full. This is full. 100. Oh, how heavy was I at the time? Like 100.
Yeah, pre-man shake. Plug.
100. Yeah. Oh no, it was during man shakes. About 115 kilos. Just into the hard concrete. Just like pike that shit on my shoulder. This time, however, my injury, quote unquote, is now that things are back open, I've returned to the gym, and I think I worked my tricep a little bit too hard. So
Reggie would be disappointed because your body was not ready.
No, any sort of horizontal movement is the word I'm looking for. It's just hurting, but thankfully I'm 105 kilos now, so that's 10 kilos difference from then. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you're doing great work in that space, man, and we may as well shout it out. Like, the man shake, if you're looking to shed a few and look as good as Ryan is these days, he's going to plug it. So go check him out on For the Players, and you'll talk in far more detail all about that, as well as PlayStation. But as I said, we're here to talk about Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. We are suckers for farming sims. We have spoken about this game in great depth before. So I think a lot of this is more consolidating some thoughts, talking about it because we've been both playing it on PlayStation. For you, that is particularly important. For me, a little less so, but I do prefer myself some trophies. I like that little pat on the back that I get from Sony while I'm playing a game. So that's nice and awesome for me. But Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. We've seen a new entry in the franchise since then. So what does it feel like to go back?
Well, So for those that may not be aware, Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town is a remake of this game. It is Harvest Moon Back to Nature on the PlayStation 1. It's very important because this is very important, Paul, because to me, Harvest Moon and farming sims live on PlayStation, right? This is one of the games that this along with God of War 2018 is one of my favorite games of all time. This game means the absolute world to me. This game, surprisingly, and this is going super dumb, got me through a lot of shit in my years because it's my zen. It's what opened up
farming sims. It's so zen.
It's what opened up this whole new world of gameplay for me, and it's just something that has gone on to this day. Like nothing makes me happy quite like farming sims, and I have this game to thank for it. So to then have it come out in a remake form in 2 years ago was like, holy shit, this is fantastic. However, it did just feel off, right? So, because playing it on the Switch that's not entirely where it lives for me. That's not, it's not my home. Like, if you can see from the background behind me and the tattoo on my arm, PlayStation is my place to play.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was missing something. But now it's not missing shit because it's on the PlayStation. I'm playing it. I've got a DualSense in my hand. I'm getting the trophies. It looks great. It plays great. It's playing the same music that's giving me this 13-year-old nostalgia. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that like my history with I guess Harvest Moon at the time, and yeah, definitely don't play Harvest Moon these days, people. It's kind of shit.
No.
But Harvest Moon eventually became Story of Seasons. Mine began with the original on the Super Nintendo. So I don't have that kind of PlayStation bias for the whole thing, outside of the fact that I just straight up have a PlayStation bias, and so I'm very keen to play it on PlayStation. I've been loving popping this bad boy into my controller mount and playing remote play on my phone. It's the perfect game for that, because I can still play on PlayStation, get all the recognition that I want. I can use that PlayStation controller, I'll pop it in with my DualSense, my DualShock 4, and I get to play a PlayStation game remotely. I get to play a farming sim portably. I get to, like, it just ticks every single box. It's a perfect game for it too, because there's no quick reflexes or any of that sort of stuff you have to worry about in case there's that hint of lag or whatever, or latency of some sort. I'm so happy playing it in that exact format, and I get to go to bed and I can keep playing it that way. Wife tells me stop playing your fucking farming sims and go get some sleep. I don't.
No.
I keep playing.
I'm sorry, Angelica. The carrots are important.
Oh yeah. Got to harvest that corn.
Yeah, the corn needs me. The chickens need me.
Yeah.
The horse, which I also named after you.
Hey,
romantic.
you've watched that Player 2 Plays. Very good.
Sure did. That's romantic, wife.
Yeah. And then
I need to make sure you're brushed and fed and kept well on my farm.
I won't go any further than
And
that.
then
I
as she
already made
looks at
some
you
very
like,
on
why-
the edge jokes during the recording.
Why the long face, Angelica? I'm showing you romantic love here.
Shit. I'm a horrible husband.
That was a real bad joke.
So yeah, I mean, it's been really good to kind of play it in that way, in the sense that it is completely versatile now. You can kind of embrace that Switch sort of style with the remote play. I get to play it on PlayStation. I get to use the controls I want. I get my trophies. Every single box is ticked now. I'm so happy about it. But the game itself, and I guess one of the things that maybe we've both had to wrestle with a little bit, is the fact that we've, more recently than that, we've played Pioneers of Olive Town, the most recent entry in the Story of Seasons franchise. What was it like going back to Friends of Mineral Town, considering that you've kind of seen, admittedly there was some technical hiccups when it comes to Olive Town, but and that's presumably, I think at this point, more than likely going to come to PlayStation and Xbox and everything like down the line as well. But in terms of just the kind of core systems and going back to it and that sort of thing, was that jarring for you at all?
No, like, once again, because I have such a strong nostalgic rose-tinted bias to back to nature, like for me it was just like coming home. But the house has been renovated.
Yep.
That's pretty much what it felt like to me. So even coming off of Olive Town, like I was like, oh cool, it's still the same thing for me. Now I understand that, like, compared to Olive Town, which honestly, as you mentioned, it should have got the upgrade probably first. Because there was such a technical deficit playing it on the Switch, because like if you had just too many crops in one area, the Switch would shit itself as you tried just across the field to get to your other buildings.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It wasn't good, but once again, it was just too many things, and the memory and whatever just couldn't keep up, and that's understandable. That's the shortfall that comes with a Nintendo Switch. So I hope, similar to yourself, that in time that Olive Town does come across, I hope it doesn't take 2 years to get there.
I mean, we're seeing Rune Factory coming across sometime soon as well. I think it's only a matter of time. I think they've learned, like, okay, let's start getting these things out multi-plat. Like, the audience is there, so let's do it.
Yeah, and like there may still be that exclusive window of time, and that's fine. Like that's PlayStation's bread and butter. So as if I'm not used to that as a concept. I just want to play it sooner, but. Yeah, like for me, there was no real drag. It was just going back to what I know, what I loved. I do kind of miss, because it is a hard remake of a very old game. Like I did miss some of the extras, some of the little
quality of life stuff that's come along.
The quality of life stuff that comes with Olive Town. But then there's also a bunch of changes that they made in Mineral Town compared to the original anyway, which we discussed at the time. So there's like just how the mining's different, how the town's laid out differently. There are certain things that happen in certain ways, but overall it's very similar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Beat for beat.
What about you? Did you have any? Because for you, like without having that strong emotional connection to it.
I loved it.
Going back, how did it?
But it's not a greatest of all time sort of thing. Like my great love when it comes to Harvest Moon titles, it's well, firstly, Shamewall Cricket 99 is the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, true. I should have known that.
The old Pop C references that fly in there. But I mean, my favorite Harvest Moon is Harvest Moon 2 on the Game Boy Color. So it's like I just don't have doesn't hit quite the same as that. Remake that bad boy, and then we're talking. But just remake all of them. They're all fantastic. Until
or just make whatever news story seasons it comes multi-plat. There's your problem solved.
Exactly. I do find it funny actually that, like, to make your reference about, you know, timed exclusives, that on one hand you got PlayStation chasing down Final Fantasy VII remake and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake,
but we're
then Nintendo's going, I want a remake of Harvest Moon. Let's lock this shit down for as long as we can. Not disparaging Harvest Moon, but holy shit, the difference in terms of approach.
To you, maybe. To me,
in terms of approach, quality,
Final Fantasy can kiss my butt.
Well, yeah.
Harvest Moon remakes is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for me, like, I didn't find it too jarring, only because of some of those technical issues with Olive Town. Once I'd done everything I needed to do, kind of content-wise and review-wise, I bounced. I was frustrated by that. Like, I just couldn't bear it anymore. Yeah. Which is, again, why I'm really hopeful that we do see a remake and I can kind of play it, a port, and I can play it the way it was intended and hopefully not be hit by any of those sort of issues, and maybe my perspective changes on the game entirely as a result. But I did bounce from it fairly quickly, and I longed for just something that's a little bit simpler, that wasn't going to cause my console to go to shit. And Mineral Town is that. So, and you know, get back on the dating scene and go for the potpourri. Just loves.
She's the easy one. Yeah, you can give her fucking weeds and she's super happy about it. Like, you just went for like the low hanging fruit, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's more pink, but redheads aren't usually my thing, so there's a barrier to have to get over.
Yeah, no, I feel
like
that.
Like a personal barrier that I've got to overcome there. Again, if you've redheaded, love you as a person, probably not into you.
But Paul don't want to smooch her. No. I'm so sorry, he doesn't want to smooch you. He's not interested.
Not going to anyway, because again, my wife that I made a horse.
Also conveniently not a redhead, so just to reinforce that.
Not redheaded, is a horse in a video game.
The pause there. She's not redheaded, she's a horse, very happily married.
Maybe not for much longer. But anyway, I'm going to stop digging my own grave here. I just...
But like in terms of how it runs, like because it is very simple, like it runs fantastic. Like it's running at a 60, or it feels like a 60.
Feels like 60.
Like there's never any hiccups. There's never any, you know, like the loading times are tight, but they were pretty tight on the Switch too. Like, you know, I'm yet to have any sort of as the term I used before, any deficit in experience, right?
Like for the most part, it does just feel like a copy paste. Like they haven't because we're not having to deal with the concerns that we dealt with in Olive Town. Like, when Olive Town makes its way across, presumably, it's going to be noticeable straight away. Like, oh, I'm not contending with this shit. We didn't have to worry about that before, so it really does feel like, okay, we've dumped it, you know, save.ps4, done.
Yeah.
There's
but
no
like
real
there are some things as the benefit of the touchpad on the controller. You now have a map, a button to just go straight to what your farm looks like. Sorry, which is awesome. Like it's a minor little thing, but like it's just something that you'd have to dick about in menus to get to previously.
Yeah, it does
or it'd
help.
be like pull up that, go to inventory, then go to that, and go no, I don't want that map. I want this map. Here it's like boop. So like when you start your day,
when PlayStation was designing the touchpad, that was clearly designed to be a map button.
That's right. They knew very quickly that it was going to be a map for one day that when they're playing Harvest Moon on there, I could press that button and see where all my weeds are located to efficiently plan my weeding on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
Like they knew. Mark Cerny was sitting there in his ASMR House of Awesome Voice Man going, ooh, I can't wait to just really benefit one specific game for one specific individual. And that is why, Mark Cerny, I love you. And I would never call you a horse in my video game. I treat you nicer than that.
I'm going to die, aren't I? No, anyway. Yeah, I mean, like, it is a weird one for us to talk about because, in essence, it is the exact same game. But I'm thoroughly enjoying playing that same old game. Like, how far through it are you so far? You're obviously still just chipping away at it bit by bit. Like,
yeah, it's one of those things. Like, look, I'm in a really tough position right now where I have like 6 games I'm supposed to be reviewing.
You and me
so
both,
I'm trying to spread my love amongst them both, and then I'm like, yeah, but I could play Story of Seasons. So you know, like I'm not as far in as I want. I'm in like the late summer, early autumn-ish of the first year.
Yeah.
But like for me, it's like I know this stuff at the back of my hand. Like I'm a lot further on than I would normally would say if I hadn't played before. Like all my tools are upgraded. I've worked out the systems. I've got all these different animals. I got this. I got that because I just know how to exploit that system super early on. Where I'm not like fumbling my way through it. So even though I'm in my first year and I'm kind of not all the way through my first year, I'm pretty far along because I've just happened to smash it. Like I just know what the right beats are to have success.
Yeah, I mean, quick to get into the mines, quick to start, digging down as deep as I can and collect as much stuff that I can get there, throw it in, earn some cash, make sure I'm spending up for to get the crops going as fast as I can. That cycle can flick into gear very, very quickly, regardless. And it just kind of helps that we know the game already. There's even less discovery in this particular case, so it's pretty sweet in that regard. Oh shit, the ID's just passed.
Oh no.
It'll come to me in a sec anyway, but fuck, I just love playing. I love playing the game. Like it's just I'm in a similar point as you. Like I'm only one season ahead of you basically. Like I'm into winter at this particular point, which is always kind of the trickiest
all mine
period.
time, baby.
What was that?
All mining. That's the trick.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you do.
Mining.
Like you got to totally pivot. But again, I've put the time in to get everything upgraded and good to go, and so it's a good place to be in right now. I'm still turning in a lot of money and building up those relationships and just getting everything ready so that what comes after spring, come spring, I'm good to go again. So
yeah, that's it.
It's all playing the long game and planning it out, and I think that's one of the best things about the old Harvest Moons or Story of Seasons these days is just, especially once you've become a little bit familiar, you get into a rhythm, and you've outlined it really well. You get into a rhythm, you learn the beats, you know what you've got to do, and you can instantly start planning and skipping ahead a little bit. And I guess the bone that they do throw in now the thoughts just come back to me, is that with some of these recent entries, that kind of easy mode that they give you, that the relationships can build a little bit faster, or you can start with a little bit. Was it more cash?
Yeah.
Or no, they give you some crops early. They give they have a few already seeded and ready to go for you, so you can just instantly pluck out the turnips or whatever the hell it is they give you at the beginning, which I think's really good for anyone who is a little bit on the newer side. It's not
and there's no like hard difficulty. It's like seedling or normal, so it's not like it's super gnarly or anything.
It's a nice little leg up. You get a little bit of money in the back pocket, and then you can go. So I think it's just the sweet spot. Like, I mean, I know you wouldn't be using that mode because you're pretty confident with the whole thing, but you're a fan?
Oh, I love the idea of it because, like, when it comes to the farming simulator, even though one that isn't as intense or real as, say, Story of Seasons is, like, there is still that learning curve. And if you don't get off on the right foot, you can kind of screw the rest of your season.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot harder to get that momentum going. If you kind of fumble that early window, like you can still recover, but like if you want to take away that stress and that ease, because like although it does give tutorials, like there are some things that make it better, but like it's still a little bit like, here you go, just kind of go off and do it, right? Because even something as simple, which is it's a habit of mine, is in the original Harvest Moons, you had to do a 9x9 square, but you couldn't put anything in the middle.
Oh yeah, because you need to get into them water.
Because you need to get in there. Quality of life
in
this version, you can grow the whole 9x9. Perfect. So like, so you're always like, even when you're small, when you're early on and your tools aren't that good, you can
still do
walk
everything
on in and not have to do the big spray, which makes life super easy. And like at other quality of life improvements, you can save at any point in time as well. And I know this was mentioned in the old review as well, but this helps. Previously, back in the day, you could only save at night when you went to sleep. End of day, where now you can do it throughout. So if you need to like save before the horse racing, so you can see how much money you can make, you can get a little bit sneaky about it,
and we all do it, don't we?
Yeah, for sure. But then rather than have to do the whole day again, it makes life a little bit easier just to do like, I'll just save just before I go to the horses and then success. But yeah, it's stuff like that is just the small minor things that help. Yeah. And an example being the stamina bar in the top left-hand corner as well, present in both the Nintendo Switch version of Mineral Town and Olive Town. Original version did not have that. You had to guess by certain animations. the animations the player would give off, the player character would give off, and you'd go, okay, he's clearly right at the end of his day. Where here, I have a very clear indicator of how my day is going, how much energy I have left, which also adds a bit more stress because you can clearly monitor it compared to like having to guess.
Yeah, the air of the unknown sometimes not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to go until I can't anymore versus shit, getting close. Oh. Now,
yeah, and even
now
then,
I need to
like,
start really thinking about what I'm going to do because I need to optimize every little skerrick of energy that I've got left. Like, it can start to build the anxiety a little bit.
Yeah, and even just like, hey, there's a big rock on your farm. You touch it, and he goes, you need a level 5 axe for that, or a 5 hammer for that rock. I go, Where previously I'd be like, I don't know, it just says it's a big rock. Like, well, what kind of hammer do I need for a big rock? And then keep trialing and erroring until you get it. Like, I just have to upgrade to the max hammer, I guess.
Oh, it's good shit.
Good, man. It's such a good game.
We need to have these games connect somehow so that we can just bounce between farms. Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing style, but with Harvest Moon. Maybe it'll come.
Animal Crossing style, but far more enjoyable than Animal Crossing.
Yeah. It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love it. Look, I'm a big fan. I think I mentioned this story on For the Players as well. And like, so both you and I were very kindly provided codes from Turn Left Distribution. That's the distribution center here in Australia. There was an email that went out like, hey, who's interested in playing this game? I didn't get that email. You messaged me and go, did you get this email? I'm like, no. So I freaked out for a moment. And then we're friends with the individual that works there. And
yeah, so you just thought, no harm, I'll toss Paul under the bus for talking about
the
codes that
hey
go
man,
around.
I just heard that this was the case, and like, I know you know me, right? You know where I sit. And their response was, we didn't have to send you an email because we knew the answer, you dickhead. So I'm like, So
okay, cool.
I'm like, well, then I assume you didn't email me to therefore not waste your time, which then I wasted by emailing you, therefore not removing the waste of time. I'm very sorry.
In fact, potentially even more, because now I'm panicking about a situation that never required panicking about.
That's my life.
But that's
my life is panicking about situations that aren't panic related.
Involving Story of Seasons or Harvest Moon. Farm.
Yeah, a big time. Yeah. I'm lying in bed. I'm like, fuck.
Don't be a farmer. It's not going to be good for you.
Nah, real farming's not fun for me.
No.
Pretend farming, big fan.
Yeah. It's the good shit. In fact, that's the best way to wrap this thing up. Big fan. Fake farming. Real farming.
Real farming, not so much. Fake farming, big fan.
That's the shit. Ryan, where should people go if they want to learn more about FTP, and the like?
Yeah, if you want to hear more from me specifically, you can over at Twitter that's my Twitter handle is at HaggardMC, HAGGARDMC. If you want to follow me and what I have to say about video games, you can check out my weekly PlayStation podcast. It's called For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation podcast. It's available on all podcast services and YouTube. I'm sure Padge has put links in the description. Go check them out down there. Padge, most reoccurring guest on our show. If there's anyone that we could have added from a PlayStation space, it would be that man. I mean, please come check us out.
The walls are coming down in this state right now. I could hop in my car.
You can come on.
You can just crash this shit.
We're allowed to have people in our houses again. Like, so we're able to be back in studio this week, and that means Paul can come back in studio soon too.
Yeah, and just keep building up those numbers. Keep John O'Peck and other clowns that are trying to knock me off the perch out of here. Keep
John O'Peck in check. I like it.
Yeah. I like it. Very nice.
But yeah, that's all the place you can see me. I also have a wrestling show called The Young and the Wrestlers. We talk about wrestling that my friend Gem and I like to watch together. That's it's sporadic. But For the Players, every Monday, 8 a.m. podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. One of the top 3 PlayStation-made podcasts in Australia.
And certainly the best one.
Certainly the best one. Stamp foot. There it is.
On the Player 2 side, make sure to go check out the website. Player2AU for the Twitter handle. For myself, Paul James Games. That was Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. We love farming. Those games are awesome. Give me a Port of Olive Town to see how that shakes out. I don't want to have to deal with that laggy bullshit anymore. But Friends of Mineral Town, it's awesome. Go check it out.
And for the record, his wife isn't a horse.
No, she's brilliant in real life. Amazing. Beautiful. Not a horse. All I could do in this particular case. Horses are graceful animals. That's the best I could do. I'm just going to stop this shit. Enjoy, everyone. We'll see you later.